week, I bring you a guest who shares a life-changing experience, the medicine they took to get better, and the funniest lesson they learned along the way. Today, of course, is another solo episode where I answer all your burning questions. I've been asked a lot over the last probably 2 years what my pet peeves, my icks, my cringes are. And I have not shared those because it kind of goes against my platform, right? I am inspirational comedian. If I share any bad stuff, it's only to show you the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the whole point of the podcast. It's the whole point of my stand-up comedy specials. All of that is to inspire you through a dark place. So I feel like sharing pet peeves oftentimes is just screaming your complaints into a void. So I don't want to do that. However, there are some icks that I've discovered just make me laugh hysterically. I laugh more at the absurdity of that. So we're going to go through that and we're going to find some humor around it. Okay. Number one, and I've talked about this before. This is for the CEO of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, and your ugly stepsister store, Ross. Okay. The price stickers on your products that are like impossible to remove. What is that? That adhesion, dude. You need to get together with the scotch tape. Like whoever makes scotch tape adhesion, because right now you're mixing it with like, I don't know, it's like some type of paste with Gorilla Glue meets polydenture cream from the 90s. Like you guys are using some really hard stuff. That's number one, the adhesion. You got to work on that. Number two is the placement of the stickers. If it's a glass product, why are you putting it, like if it's a frame and you put it on the glass on the front, just put it on the back. Why are you putting it on the back? Now I got to get like Windex. And that's the other thing. People are like, well, if you just use Windex and a blow dry or in Goo Gone, why do I have to buy or use other products just to get the product I bought? Why do I have to do that? And then the sticker itself. You guys, the ones that have like the 3-hole punch in them? And you got to take your nails because like they fall apart if you just try to scrape it off. Now I know it's all because of shoplifting. I understand. I used to work retail in college. I worked at American Eagle, but we didn't need a hacksaw to take off our tags. Okay. So if you guys could just loosen it up, this has been my plight for like 5 years and nobody listens. So again, it is me screaming into a void, but those stickers drive me nuts. Like I don't want people to know I got a discount on my water for crystal dish. Okay. But by all the residue that's left over, they're going to know. So now I can't shop there anymore. Do you know what I mean? Still great hand tells. Okay. Number two, this is, and I'm going to approach this delicately. Please know when I'm about to say this is I have also posed with boudoir photos. You can find them deep into my Instagram. Okay. So this is not me judging the women that take scantily clad photos online. That's not what this is. It is when women post very risque photos, lingerie, covering their nips, and then the tagline is an inspirational quote. I feel like we're missing the mark here, right? Because it's going to be a girl spread eagle, touching herself. And then it's going to say like, to thine own self be true. Or like, what's the other one that I was thinking of? It says, oh, there was one girl I found and it says, do not go gentle into that good night. I'm like, girl, I can see your urethra. Why are those? Do you know what I mean? And I say this because when I did the boudoir photos, first of all, it took a lot of Chardonnay to get me that relaxed and confident. So like the girls that can do it. Girl, shake your moneymaker. But like also acknowledge that you're half naked on screen. So I couldn't do it with a straight face. So I would take these photos and I would post them. And then I would write hilarious taglines. Like I had one where I was like on all fours giggling, just like basically wearing a bikini, basically, right? And I'm like, and my tagline just said lactose intolerant. Do you know what I mean? And then I did another one where I'm like on my back with my hand above my head like it's hot. And I just put, I have fleas. And then my favorite one was, the photographer like caught me in a moment where I was like covered up with just a pillow and I was frowning a little bit. And I put this tagline. Keep in mind, I was way raunchier back then, but this is my tagline. He licked my fart box and now my num has crusties. So that like either make it funny or be like, here's my OnlyFans account, or sell your merchandise, or be like, mama's thirsty. But like, to do that and then say, I believe a leaf of grass is no less than a journey work of stars. And then, we can see your butthole. It just feels weird. But keep doing it. And then the last thing is, okay, this one was interesting to me. If it's an American brand company and we can't pronounce the name, Now, I'm not talking about by the way, I'm trash. Okay. So this isn't me judging the company. I just don't understand when it's an American company and we still cannot pronounce what you came up with. So I'm not talking about your Louis Vuitton or your Louboutin, which I just found out were two separate companies like 2 years ago. I thought Louis Vuitton was the red bottom shoes. No, that's Christian Louboutin. I'm probably not even saying these right, but those are French companies, so I understand why they're spelled like I used to be like, oh, I love the smell of Givenchy, and they're like, it's not how you say that. I was like, how do you say it? And they're like, Givenchy. I'm like, what the hell? But it's a French company, so I understand that. But now, as I'm driving up Sunset, there's this new hair product. It probably isn't even new. I'm just so behind on the times. I mean, look at this jean jacket. So like I'm driving up Sunset and there's this big billboard with like this half naked beautiful woman and she's spraying something into her hair. And the company's name is spelled Ouai. 4 vowels, no consonants. What? So now I'm like just stuck in traffic trying to go Ouai? Why Owie? Whoa, because I'm thinking, okay, in French, we is spelled O-U-I. So maybe that, but then they're O-I-A. I just did some research. It's pronounced way, like if you're spelling it in English, W-A-Y or W-E-H, right? And I looked into it and I was like, oh my God, it's an American company. That really makes me mad because the marketing behind it was the creator is named Jen Atkin, and she said she created that logo and title because she wanted it to be a conversation starter. I'm like, girl, do you know the conversations that are happening though? They're not good. They're like, what, why do you do that? It makes my brain hurt and then I don't want to buy the product. But I hear it's a great product, so I hope it goes well. But when I found out, I was like, okay, you know what? It's got to mean something. And she did. She said it was based on a French term. And I looked that up and I was like, oh, what does way mean? Oh my gosh. I wonder if it means like effervescent or ethereal or mystical. No, it means yeah. Y-E-A-H. It means yeah. And then you're like, all of that work and it just means yeah? That kind of stuff exhausts me. And then that's pretty much all my pet peeves. But I will say I used to have other ones which I actually don't agree with now. And that's the funny thing is you can have the name of the podcast. The funny thing is that you can have pet peeves and then move past them or actually disagree with them. This one's going to be controversial. And again, this is a very off-brand episode for me because again, it's not necessarily inspirational comedy. It's just kind of like complaining. But I'm trying to find the comedy in it. People, when they post that somebody died that's young, like under 40, and we don't get to find out how, I don't know why that eats at me. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, he died at 26 years old. And if it's somebody like I knew, then you start texting everybody feverishly and they're like, what happened? What was it? Was it, and then you start guessing. You're like, what was it? And like nobody knew they were sick or maybe it was a car accident. Blah, blah, blah. I feel like, I'm not privileged to that information. That's not something that is owed to me by any regard. But it's just something that I will get down to the bottom of because I'm like, I need to know. I think we're just curious as humans. And it's like, oh, you have to tell me what it is. But I could never post that online. Like, I'm never posting that clip for this because it's rude. And every time I've thought about posting that clip, someone dies and a friend shares it. And then it looks like I'm commenting on that. And so I can't do that. So I don't actually agree with that anymore. And then the other one I don't agree with anymore is I used to have a whole bit on how if you are not famous and you have children and you post on, this actually used to be a really raunchy bit, and you post on social media, but you blur out or block out your child's face, that nobody cares. Like your 300 followers don't care what your kid looks like. I used to say that. And I used to be like, look, it's the general population is just going to think you have an ugly child is what I used to say. Obviously my comedy has drastically changed in 10 years and I would never say that now. And now, because I know everything I know about social media, I'm like, block their face. Absolutely block their face. It did make for a funny bit that went around for a while, but I'm really glad I did not put that in my last special because that would not have aged well. Not even like publicly, but because I don't agree with it anymore. Right. So all that to say, the last pet peeve I had which I still stand by. And I understand why it exists. But when I was pregnant, when you're pregnant, I knew you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do drugs. That's the basics. We know that. But the list of foods I couldn't have that were given to me by my doctor was so long and arduous. I did not understand it. And I was so frustrated. And I went by the book. I ate completely healthy. My daughter was 8 pounds, 6 ounces. She destroyed my body on the way out. God bless her. And so there were things like you couldn't have certain fish because of listeria. You couldn't have eggs. You couldn't have caffeine because it's bad for the baby's heartbeat. You couldn't have smoked trout, which was like so specific. And I'm like, what research have they done? Like, they haven't even discovered like why women have endometriosis. You're going to tell me they did a study on smoked trout and pregnancy? Like, just it was so specific. And so somebody asked me the other day if I had another baby, would I follow the same protocol? Absolutely not. I would not do that. No, I wouldn't. And the baby would grow up to be a toddler and look at me and say, Mommy, do you love me? And I would say, not as much as sushi and a good Cabernet. That's why your head's bent. So I gotta laugh. That's a bit I used to do. That killed, by the way. That was my friend Jack's favorite bit that I've ever done. So that's it for the pet peeves, guys. And just remember, if you have a pet peeve, you don't have, the only reason I'm answering that is because people have asked what my icks were. And the first time somebody asked me what my ick was, I didn't even know what that meant. So I had to Google it. So yeah, those are just like some pet peeves, but they all just make me laugh. And you know what? I'll probably go out and buy some Way hairspray now that I know how to say it. And I don't feel like I'm going to be an idiot going to the counter asking for it. Yeah. So even though you have pet peeves, let it go. It's all good. We're all just here to have a good time and laugh. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. That was easy. 12 minutes. Great.